we'll be reacting to how Pollo proved that he's better than peterbot, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna react to that. Make sure to subscribe and stay tuned to the whole video. Let's get to the video. Alright, 234, bro.
Fortnite world was only saying one name.
Peterbot.
Arguably the best player to ever touch the game. Well, at least that's what everybody thought. Because this past weekend's FNCS Grand Finals was full of crazy clutches.
The deal season now. Not too early. He takes down the deal as a solo. Peterbot takes height as a solo. Gets the seismic. Takes down Sphinx. What the f is happening?
Drama.
Did you congrat Acorn, bro? Shut
Yep.
the f up, bro. Why would I congrat someone that f me over the season and made me feel like...
And one of the best underdog stories in the history of Fortnite. Peterbot and Pollo are perhaps the most successful duo in Fortnite history. If you're a fan of the
If they
channel,
go on
you
like
know
this,
that I
man,
made
they
a
should
couple
win
of videos
FNCS
about
with trios, but they
So if
split
you
up
wanna
like
know
literally.
everything about
Like
Peterbot
peterbot
and
couldn't find
Pollo, you
a
can go back
decent
and check
player
those
just
out later.
to
But
match
for now, I'm gonna do a
peterbot.
quick
His
recap of
skills.
what happened last year before we dive into all the drama of 2025. In December of 2023, Peterbot and Pollo decided to team up for the first time. They worked together perfectly, with Peterbot doing crazy amounts of damage and Pollo being one of the smartest IGLs in the game.
Feels a little for me because Peter's been known for a while, but this year I came up, I guess. He's definitely better at getting eliminations, but I think I'm smarter than him.
Peterbot is definitely
And
better
he'll
than
probably tell you that as
eliminations.
well.
In Major
Pollo has
1,
better IQ
their
for sure.
first ever big
Like he
tournament
said.
together, they finished second place in NA Central with 721 points.
Acorn and Cold in first, Peterbot and Pollo in second. Peterbot was putting on an absolute highlight reel. The broadcast
Peterbot's
was showing
pretty
some
good,
of the
man.
most ridiculous shots I have ever seen out of them.
Following that, they played a literal perfect Cash Cup, getting 6 out of 6 wins in finals.
It was too early.
Go back.
Nice. Oh my god.
Let's go.
Then in Major 2, this duo broke the point record for FNCS on day number 1. Then on
They're just
day
too
number
good,
2,
like
they
living.
won
If they
the
could
whole
still
thing,
trios
winning
in
their first
2025 FNCS, they'll be
together.
like massive good.
Hanging out way up above the clouds.
That's what's impressive about this.
Also, you know, they split up on trios FNCS. I'm pretty sure Pollo team with Rapid and Boats.
Locked in the win.
One for no scope, okay?
Don't feed them the splashes. Don't feed them the splashes.
Oh my god! Holy shit!
Just pulled off one of the craziest wins we have ever seen in Fortnite.
Not only was this their first win as a duo, but this was Pollo's first
Too good,
ever
man. It's too good,
FNCS
bro.
win.
It's too good, bro. It's too good.
No, this would not be his last. Because in the literal next FNCS of Major 3, they took home
I'm calling it,
first
man.
place again.
Trios FNCS, they're winning, bro.
Peterbot and
Pollo
Pollo have done it.
could be winning, bro. He has better opportunities with peterbot, bro. I'm gonna lie.
Peterbot and Pollo, congratulations once again.
And a back-to-back FNCS win is insanely rare, but to follow it up with something even greater, which was a three-peat, was basically unheard of.
Would you please give it everything you've got for the FNCS Global Champions 2024?
Peterbot and Pollo. They're absolutely insane.
So
Duels.
with Peterbot
They
and
popped
Pollo
off.
being quite literally
clutched too. They were like
unstoppable and dominating
back-to-back
all of
points.
the Grand Finals in NA Central and in Globals, they were set to take on 2025 together, or
Yep,
maybe not,
not.
because
Yep.
after the then world champions finished
breaked
off the
up
Globals, they
after
decided
Globals
to
championship. That's crazy.
mysteriously part
After they won the whole.
ways.
Like, me and Pollo are split up for trios, chat. And me and Cole, they're like just gonna play with Tarper.
However, this wasn't entirely out of nowhere. See, Epic Games had just announced that the game mode would be switching from
They're switching the duos,
to
man.
trios in
Trios too.
2025. And Peterbot and Pollo most likely thought that their playstyles wouldn't fit together well in this new competitive environment. Technically, the breakup actually happened in 2024 during September, right after the global finals.
Alright, after
but
the global
did
championship's crazy,
unite
though.
in November and December to try playing a couple of Cash Cups together. However, they did end up splitting again, and this would bring us into 2025, where people were starting to finalize their trios and get ready for Major 1 FNCS, which we all just watched this past weekend. About a month into 2025, it was clear that peterbot and Pollo were done for good, and many people speculated that this would be the start of the downfall of Pollo's career. And
nah, this was a chance that Pollo will pop off, clutch up,
through their insane
revenge
run
man.
and journey in 2024.
After
But
peterbot dropped Pollo, Pollo was
every single one of his haters wrong.
revenge man.
FNCS divisional cups started out at the beginning of 2025 and ran once a week for 5 weeks.
After FNCS, I never heard of
Well,
Pollo, bro. After he popped up as a duo of peterbot, I finally know it's Pollo, and then it's popping off. He actually did impress me how he fought, and then yeah, he was very an aggressive passive player. He's a mixed player for me.
They placed 10th in week
IQ
1
too.
and 2nd in week 2, which was a little bit better, but dropping back to 5th in week 3 and 2nd again in week 4. And don't get me wrong, these are incredible placements. But with Peter literally getting first every week, everyone kind of assumed he was just going to win FNCS again. So Pollo made a last-ditch effort to take down peterbot and prove that he was the best of the best in the game. He decided with 1 week left to split from his trio and find a new team. Pollo's new trio would
That's
now
crazy.
consist
How they
of
find
majors and
2 teammates
and
quick.
The trio finished 3rd place in week 5, which, although wasn't as good as his other placements, was still pretty impressive considering it was a new trio. However, people were pretty skeptical of this move that Pollo decided to make. I mean, making such a huge
Pollo's about to beat it, bro.
change in
Just watch.
trios
Watch him pop
so
off.
close to FNCS is a very risky move. See, making a last-minute change of duo is one thing. Maybe both players don't have great communication, but if you're both good enough, you can make something work. Whereas in trios, communication is everything. When you have that many moving pieces, everyone on the team has to be on the same page. So Pollo just had to hope that they could make it work and that the change would pay off. Surprising absolutely nobody, both Peter and Pollo's
That is
trios
surprising.
managed to fly
Absolutely
through the
surprising.
qualifiers and move on to the grand finals with ease. In the qualifiers, both peterbot and Pollo looked really good. Peter won his first game easily with 13 total kills.
Ball, the advantage is their game to win now. This is like a foreshadow of what we could potentially see later this month. Cold, peterbot ritual, box to box.
Hey, but never underestimate the power of Pollo, bro. This guy got Fortnite, man. Could be better than peterbot. I just need a little bit of proof, man. Crazy end game, man. Look at that crazy end game.
And Pollo won his second game with 10 kills.
Has a flopper left, but no time to use it. That's Craze just leading the path, trying to give him some extra cover on the other side, but they're getting smudged to the low ground. Craze with a medallion, makes a play on a crook on the other side, bringing it down to a 3v2, but he gets dropped as well. Ocus by itself, and he doesn't stand a chance. Angers, Acorn, and Pollo pull off a big win.
Win
But
or
at
lose,
the
win
end
or
of
lose,
the day,
man.
qualifiers really mean nothing. Because what it comes down to is the grand finals. And here we are,
FNCS
on
day
February 15th
1.
of 2025, day 1 of grands. Fortnite fans everywhere turned in to see their once favorite duo now facing off against each other. Game 1
Same
actually
game.
started out rough for peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. Peter decided to continue the strategy he
Your
used last
original
season,
strat.
which is focusing on collecting the best
Medallion.
medallion in the game.
Yep.
And for Chapter 6 Season 1, the best medallion available is the
Omnimask was so
Invisibility
OP,
medallion.
but
Unfortunately, 4 other teams wanted this medallion as
It wasn't
well,
Omnimask.
which made the boss fight way more difficult.
Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual have to make a decision quickly now, as they haven't picked up any
Not like
eliminations.
Colt was pretty good, not like.
You know, it's very telling so far
Especially Peter.
of the strength of the lobby, right? We all knew that Peterbot might have taken a fight on against the trio nearby, but it seems like that didn't end up working out in their favor.
They had to waste a ton of time waiting the other teams out.
Chad, they're
Luckily,
literally
they did get the
capping on
coin
the
and then got
land,
into
bro.
a fight right after.
It's even hard to break through that to try to get what you need. On the other side of the map, you see in Storm Surge really dictating a lot of what we're seeing here today. Ritual goes down. Peterbot and Cold only 42 above that family threshold.
Oh, no,
Even with the
Ritual's down.
medallion, they're still not finding those
Like they play so
opportunities to get what
perfect,
they
like
need.
passive, aggressive. Their teammates are
After this fight, Peter
IGL.
is left with the medallion to solo clutch, but things didn't exactly work out.
I'm not gonna lie,
He would die in a respectable
Pollo
fourth
has some
place
potential
with
to be
7
like
eliminations.
absolutely top, better than
But
Peterbot.
Pollo, on the other hand, continued to rise to the occasion.
You know, people are haters too. People are still think that's better than everyone. Winning FNCS down to down, up to up.
That's gonna be a minute. Braid from down below. Visuals there as well.
Pollo, man. Pollo's crazy, bro. Look at him go. Look at him go. Like, I've been sweating him,
Finally
bro.
making it into the zone.
Going
He's
crazy,
trying
man.
to let the Storm do his work for the Siphon to come into play.
Very smart play right there. He's going to heal up. It's all up to Visuals now. It's going to come down to a single shot. Pollo does not miss. He connects when it matters, and he will win.
Pollo's team placed first in the first game.
Close up that, bro.
14-team elimination.
Was it like a 1v2,
which
1v3?
was an incredible
Or was it
way
just like
for
1v1,
Pollo to
1v1?
start off his grand finals. And remember, Pollo was playing with a huge chip on his shoulder. People had been saying he was getting carried by Peterbot, so
They were hating, bro.
They
They were hating, bro. And he still got confidence of beating everybody, showing everyone.
Go. Because in game 2, Peterbot and his trio managed to stick it out and make it to the end game. However, once again, they still could not overcome Pollo, Agers, and Acorn, who placed second in game 2 with 13 kills, while Peterbot's trio died out in 6th place with 9 kills. And if things could get any worse, Peterbot shocked everybody in game 3 by going down early.
Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold looking to fight another one of these early game scuffles to try to get their serves to really set themselves up for
You can't go wrong, bro.
that they've been having so far, trusting his team to stay alive and put the same pressure on the other side.
What I like about this is no two games are the same, right? They've gone a completely different way this time around. Peterbot, though, is going to be the first to fall here to the hands of Fredbot and Nut there on the other side of the wall. Meanwhile, Ritual and Cold seemingly deciding, hey, wait a second, we haven't done enough damage, let's get out of here. They actually back off.
Luckily, however, Peter's teammates were able to revive him, and they marched together into endgame, only for Cold and Ritual to go down early.
But 105 damage above the threshold, they know as soon as they get to the other side, they got to start to look back, they got to start to get active so they don't worry about it later. But Yapko gets caught out, big find by Peterbot, get the elimination, but Ritual gets dropped as well, bring it down to a
Siphon
2v2
too.
in this fight.
Once again, they find themselves just not as a trio in the end game. This is what's holding them back right now. This time, it's Cold and Peterbot who have to work with one another, continuously losing the, and I'm going to say this very lightly, IGL of the team.
This, once again, left Peterbot alone, and he really needed a clutch after
That
not
yeah,
doing
clutch.
as good as he wanted the first 2 games.
Possible,
And
man.
he held on for as long as he could, but eventually falls.
But no, there it is. Some mats finally picked up now. Up he goes.
Yeah, I
with
think
the
he's
void
got some
only mask.
line.
That's a wall that
He had
you couldn't
that
climb
tough
if
corner there. Yeah, he
he
could have
wanted
there.
to, but no. Finally, he falls in a short game for him.
All Peter could hope for now was
Dude, most in
for things
DC
to
are
turn
just
around
like sky
in the
basing,
second
bro.
half of the
Or
day.
like high ground,
And
massive high ground.
unfortunately, things would only get worse.
Forgot who won that
As
match,
in
though.
the next game,
Or
Peter
Final
Bot's
Fantasy.
teammates would die off of spawn.
Pretty quickly, it's got the attention of a trio outside. Meanwhile, Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot once again. Ritual just seems to not be able to really catch his footing here. And the surge is active, very reminiscent of game number 1.
I'm about to say 91 surge. When was the last time we seen 91 surge in the FNCS finals lobby? And it just goes to show this is how important it actually is. But the third party coming in, Peterbot once again forced to disengage outward, but just a little bit too slow. Cold gets caught in the mix. He gets knocked down, and now Peterbot's left by himself this early in the game. That's a disaster again that I don't think anybody would expect.
Although he was able to revive them and get to endgame, they were so disadvantaged that they ended up going down in 6th place again.
Although they have a single elimination, they're just pressuring the rest of the lobby. The big points, though, are in the hands of Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot. They are flying up the standings right now, and it's still active down here. Meanwhile, Cold falls, though. It's all up to Peterbot.
That's crazy, man.
He's the last man standing.
A familiar station that he's already
If
ready
Pollo and
for.
Peterbot
Big
has
knock
like
onto Virgo, tries to
decent
go to the
leaderboards
back-to-back
and
with
they
the run
still
ends. Top
trioing,
six
bro,
for them.
it would be
Pollo's
crazy,
trio,
bro.
on the other hand, managed to get into the top 5 and outlive Peter's trio once more, getting 4th place.
Zone moving toward the north. He peeks out for a second. High ground puts a ton of pressure, getting to expand the build, force them down low into that chaos, but Ager's trying to play it smart. He doesn't want to go to the ultimate low ground, not at this stage in the game.
Then again in game 5, Peter and his trio would get 4th place, while Pollo and his trio would get 3rd. So for the first 5 games of day 1,
Pollo did better,
Peterbot's trio did not survive past Pollo's one single game. With all that being said, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual knew they had to change things up going into game 6 if they wanted to regain some ground going into day 2. So they switched up their strategy, and instead of focusing on W keying and box fighting other trios, they decided to play a lot safer, sit in surge bases, and get tags on the passing teams. However, only 7 eliminations. Points-wise, this would be their worst game of day number 1.
Pay close attention to the high ground teams, though, as Ager's, Acorn, and Pollo seemingly have this game in a headlock right now.
That was a big
Hey, you know what's
shot.
crazy to me? They are taking out the Sentinel shotgun and the hollow twisted shotgun. That's crazy. That's what I heard. They are taking out one of the best 2 guns in the whole game.
And Pollo did exactly what he had been doing all day, carrying his team to a 2nd place where they had 12 cumulative kills.
2v2 now. Booga goes up. It's up against Acorn. Beautiful tag there. Acorn is down. Booga's got the high ground. He's got a chance to bounce back.
2v1 situation, they're ready to drop down. They know they have this one in the bag. Acorns are trying to take the other side. Friends taking damage, Booga as well, but they have a strength in numbers, a history as a team, and they win the 6th and final game of the day.
At the end of day 1, Pollo was in 1st place with 512 points. And although Peterbot and his trio looked a little bit inconsistent, they did manage to get the 2nd place spot right behind Pollo with 420 points. And at the end of day 1, we saw Ritual tweet out, "Today is on me," basically taking the heat for some of the losses by going down early. But at the end of the day, it's trios, and it's really not on one person, it's on the entire team. And that meant going into day 2, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold had to lock in and make up the 100-point deficit if they wanted to catch up to Pollo, Agers, and Acorn. And if there's one thing you should know about Peter, it's to never count him out. Because the trio went on to win.
He has a big ego, but he's still good. He's still, I'm not gonna lie, people making him better. People's like better than everyone, better than Legs, better than Cole, better than Ritual, better than Muzz, better than everyone.
Get the damage. He can finally figure out a way to come off clutch, but they're ready for the fight on the other side. They drop down. Peterbot is not going to be disappointed because Cold and Ritual clutch up when it matters and win their first game of Major 1.
On top of that, Pollo's team got the worst finish of their tournament so far, getting 6th place with 9 kills.
Look at it keeps going up and down. Peterbot wins and then Pollo wins, loses, wins. Swear, bro, if they teamed up as a trio, bro, one more teammate
This was a huge boost for Peterbot because not only did they have a good game, Pollo also had a bad game, meaning that they started to close the gap. After game number 8, the gap between the trios got even closer because following a good game from Peter, they were only down 39 points to
first, man, like literally.
And with 4 games left to go, it was really anybody's chance to win. And before we keep talking about this battle between Peterbot and Pollo, it's kind of important that we also mention the rest of the leaderboard. They're basically nowhere to be found. I mean, Pollo's team at 660 points, Peterbot at 621, and then the next closest trio only has 474 points. This was a 2-horse race, and it was going down to the finale. However, tragedy would strike in game number 9 for Peterbot when he would go down in a devastating 17th place after Clix's trio forced them off the medallion on Island.
Dead, killed you. Killed all. Get out. In now. Get out. Fucking Cole is pissed on. Is Peter pissed on? Got tards.
In this same game, Pollo would finish 3rd, which once again widened the gap
3rd
between
place.
Peterbot and 1st place. And game 10 didn't turn out much better for Peter, because once again, they finished outside the top 10 in just 11th.
They're just
However,
like that, man.
Pollo's team didn't have the best game either, finishing in 6th, so it was still possible for them to have a comeback. And once again, I will remind you, when
look at
the
that
odds
end
are
game,
stacked
man.
against
Just
him
like
is
30
when
teams,
Peterbot is
20
at
teams.
his best. So during game 11, when both of Peterbot's teammates went down early, and it was up to him to solo clutch, he went absolutely crazy.
Peterbot's going up, 70 builds, Badil's trying to go up, Badil's trying to 90 up to get up to Sneak, doesn't realize he's lurking down
That
low.
refresh, man. What's he doing?
Badil sees him now. Pete takes down Badil as a solo. He's getting chopped though, he needs a siphon, can't get it, 10 HP.
Look at that fucking, look at Peterbot clutching, man.
Jumps back up, Peterbot takes
Unbelievable, bro.
gets the siphon.
In his age, man.
Sphinx, what the fuck is happening? Oh my god!
With this high ground. This is
Right.
Eliminate 1 DT Rise.
He pumps him 10 HP, gets him again.
Not.
That's another siphon. Doesn't even need
Siphon
it.
refresh.
Drops down.
Exit Muzz.
He's come out. It's a 1v2. He needs to take down Quanti, and Edgy takes his pump.
And after clutching so many points, it was down to the final game. However, surprisingly, Peterbot would get contested at his drop spot
spawn.
by a random team with no potential to even get top 10.
Even now, look at this. What's going on here? Power, Polis, and
Ritual, that's all I'm saying.
What?
This is their drop. Freeze up.
Kind of weird. I'm guessing they maybe thought that Pete was going to go night shift as well. Or keeps throwing up the leaderboard. This team's already been under enough fire on social media, but apparently we want more smoke.
Look, they're shielded.
Yeah, we're great. Well, Cole's getting in. Cole's getting active. Cole doesn't care. Cole takes him down. Cole, of course, Cole just runs straight in. Yo, this shit just gets in, bro. What the? Homie's literally stuck in the vault now.
It's crazy, man. For it was like just
Throw off
randoms.
some other competitors. This is Peterbot that we're talking about. And he somehow overcame this and went on to win the final game of the tournament.
In the same box, you see the material count, the resources.
Pollo goes down to Jack.
Pollo goes down, man.
Aegis
Peterbot.
solo. Aegis goes down. Wait, is it enough? 13 kills. If we
There's our Blake. Killed Pollo.
I don't think it's enough though. But Peterbot's trying to go for it. Peterbot can't take down Blake. He's got the med hits, 20 HP. Blake takes high ground, 3v1. It comes down to Blake, one of the vets. P versus Blake, you have to think Blake's gonna go down here. Is it enough though? That's gonna be the question. No way the 16 kill win might not be enough.
16 kill wins on the Peterbot, bro.
What the?
Pretty sure.
14 points was the difference. Congratulations to your Major 1 champions. Agers,
That's crazy.
Acorn, and Pollo.
Pollo.
14 points. Separated
Pollo got it, bro.
that win.
Pollo got
While
it, bro.
these two last games were huge for Peterbot, it still was not enough.
They
to
got
take
it.
home
They
the
got it.
tournament
They had
win.
to get. Like,
However,
they had to get,
only
man.
managed to lose by 14
They had to get it, bro.
points, almost pulling off one of the biggest comebacks in FNCS history. And with that being said, Agers, Acorn, and
I call it, bro.
Pollo
Call it, bro.
came
Call it.
out on top. This means that Pollo won 4. Yes, you heard that
FNCS.
correctly. 4 FNCS championships in a row, and finally ending the storyline of Peterbot being the most dominant player in the game, because now everyone is gonna have to put some respect on Pollo's name. And although this was probably a devastating loss for Peterbot, they still placed 172 points higher than the third place team,
76,500. 76,500.
and
100
for getting his first ever third place and breaking his curse.
Yeah,
And if you
he's
guys haven't
Clicks
seen
broke
my
his world
interview
record. That was his
with
highest
Clicks
FNCS.
yet,
It's
there
crazy.
is a 1-hour-long video linked right
As
here.
it's going good. That's going to
Thank you
grow.
guys so much
For my video, guys, and yeah, it's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe. I'm dropping for sure more videos like this, and maybe in the future, and I might drop videos for the next 2 weeks or next 3 weeks. Stay tuned, and that's about it. God bless. Make sure you subscribe. Goodbye.